It's Kim back from Making Creative Memories in Time. How is everybody? It has been a hot minute since I've been here. Life is crazy. I hope you're in your PJs. I'm in my PJs, but I'm ready to scrapbook. How about you? If you hop on, say hello so I know you're watching, so I can say hello back. So I am going to go ahead and get started. I am, for those of you who don't know, my channel or my page is Making Creative Memories in Time, and my name is Kimberly Sparks, and I am on, hey sissy, I see my sister, I am on the Creative Memories design team, and way back in the early spring they asked me would I use this wonderful Legacy of Love paper and design a project recipe, and so I did. But before I share that with you, I'm going to share the paper. So this Legacy of Love is gorgeous. It's meant to be like a heritage paper, and I love it. I'm using it tonight in this class with you to scrapbook pictures of my family from the beach last year. And this was literally about a month before little Roland came, and these will cut apart. But I want to show you the versatility of this paper. Although it's very sepia tone, brown tone, black and gray tone, and when I designed the project recipe, I use sort of the black and grays, but I also want to show you how we can really allow this paper to let colorful pictures stand out. So real quickly, I'm just going to do a flip of the beautiful paper, Legacy of Love, and you can see why this would be an excellent heritage paper, right? Absolutely gorgeous. And I will be doing a heritage project a little bit later in the fall. Gorgeous. We'll be using this piece tonight. We'll be using this piece tonight. We'll be using this piece tonight. And we will be using this piece tonight. Okay? And here is our final piece. Isn't this paper gorgeous? Hit some hearts if you love this paper. Like, I'm all about this paper, friends. I am all about this paper. I'm going to go ahead and pull in somewhere there is a polka dot. And we are going to go ahead and move this out of the way. So I completely designed this, and this is the project recipe. I put it in the group so that you can, and I just did a quick print, so hopefully it doesn't look weird. And then here's the original layout that I created. This is your sketch, and it gives you all your dimensions, and then these are the directions. And we're going to cut this together tonight. And here are your papers. I think there may be a page missing, maybe. No? Okay, so let's get started. So this, when I first received the paper, I was very drawn to the browns. And then when Home Office sent me the photos, although I could have used the browns, because these are photos that Home Office sent me to use, I really thought playing on the grays and blacks would be absolutely gorgeous. And these little areas right here are the Geometric Gem Border Maker cartridge. And so we'll use that in just a little bit too. And so if you have this, and you don't have to use Geometric Gem, if you don't have it, you can use any kind of chain punch that you have. And a chain punch, the reason it's called a chain is it separates your punch from your paper. Okay, So with our border maker system, your cartridge always goes in where the Creative Memories is. It goes in backwards, okay? And these little teeth, you hear that little snap? These little teeth are facing you, all right? There's this little notch right here that shows the center of the cartridge. And with our border maker system, you get this little paper tray holder. So on the bottom, this flips up, and this is only to help us get our paper straight. Your arm flips up, and there's a magnet strip here and here. And so we are going to put, and I know this is kind of hard to see because this paper is black and this tray is black. But you line your paper up, make sure you're straight here and make sure you're straight here. And then you let your little magnetic arm down. You fold your paper tray back under. And then what happens here is those teeth are going to line up in these grooves right here. And then this little notch right here is going to line up with these notches. And we're going to punch that little design. And I always like to start at the top. And you'll hear it click. You know you're in the groove when it clicks, okay? And you can hear it. And we're going to cut 3 of these, okay? So here is 1. We're going to cut 3, okay? So we need 2 more. See how fast this is going, friends? Now this is just going to be a little extra piece that we can stick back in our pack. So this is finished and everything folds away nice. Now there is a little button, a blue button on the back. You push that and sort of wiggle and your cartridge comes out. Isn't that awesome? I love border maker system. I'm going to put this out of my way. All right. And now we are moving on, friends. So this was a pretty, I designed this to be pretty simple. I didn't want a lot of cuts, and I wanted the pictures to be the show. So, of course, that's what I did. Oh, it is easy, Brenda. It's not hard on your hands or your arthritis at all. So I am going to use some mint tape just to hold my page in place. And a lot of people who were used to a very thick quality paper, either from brands that you purchased from brick and mortar stores or the thick paper that Close to My Heart had. One of the reasons that Creative Memories paper is a little thinner is for those punches. I have tried using those punches on paper, like thick cardstock, and you have to work really hard. So that's one of the reasons that Creative Memories paper is thinner, and I love it. So our gray paper is going to line right up at the edge. Let me bring my sample back in so you can see. So this gray paper is going to meet edge to edge on your white cardstock. Now, I am a white cardstock base girl. Very rarely do you see me use something that is not white base cardstock. So, let's go ahead and get this attached. Now, I want to talk to you about this jumbo tape runner. Never in a million years would I have bought this jumbo tape runner because I didn't think I would like it. When I was at Rose Blossom Convention in Minnesota the last week of June, Creative Memories gave all of us in attendance the tape runner. It came with the blue cartridge, the original permanent cartridge, and I put a repositionable in this. I love it. 140 feet. I love it. Doesn't mean that I still don't use this one, right? But the nibs, the runner part is identical. It's the same width. And I thought this would be hard to manipulate. I thought it would be like bulky or heavy. It's extremely lightweight. I love it. Love it. Okay. So now this side is our inch and this side is our 1.5 inches. Let's move our, I should have realized that when I put my mint tape. I don't know that this one is going to be in the way, but we're going to go ahead and move it just in case. And so this side gets the 1.5 inches and this side gets the inch. And so when you put this in your scrapbook, regardless if it is a strap hinge or a post bound, this is going to look really nice. And I do like to sometimes have that paper, that designer paper, come all the way to the edge. You guys know I'm a white space, like I like white space. And sometimes people get a little confused and think white space means actual white paper. White space just means areas where you can rest your eye. I think we're going to be okay there. So leave a comment and let me know. Had you made, if you had purchased this paper, had you created this project recipe yet? And did you know that I am on the Creative Memories design team? That's something I love, by the way. I love being on the design team. So now before we get into this strip and the rest of our stickers, we need to lay down these like film strip stickers. And so let's pull in. Hey, Eva. I'm working on this project recipe I designed. So I am going, and you can use whatever you have. You can use your multi-purpose tool. You just need something that when you peel these off, that these little film strip pieces here, they need to stay on the sticker paper and not come with you. And it seems to me that the paper piercer really does help keep that separated. If you have this paper pack, if you're using a different, oh yay! Am I going too fast, April? If I'm going too fast, tell me. If you're making it with me and I can slow down. You guys know that I'm a retired school teacher, right? And I can talk all day and I talk fast. So just slow me down. Hey, Teresa, thank you for popping in. So I am creating a page tonight using what was meant to be like for legacy or heritage albums. And I will show you the page that I created for the Creative Memories. I created the project recipe. But on the page I'm making tonight, I'm using beach pictures. Eva, so I don't know if you knew, Eva, I designed this project recipe. It's the geometric gem that came. It was part of the bundle. Great, April. I don't want to go too fast. But because this is sticky, I'm going to go ahead and get this put down over here, okay? And it looks like my phone might be a little bit crooked. I always get crooked when I'm scrapbooking, friends. So here's a tip. I like to see how the sticker just naturally wants to curl back? Like it just naturally wants to curl back. I like to leave it curled like that because these things are very sticky. And if it gets down on the paper in a place I don't want it to be, especially this bright white cardstock, and I try to peel that sticker up, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to tear my cardstock. And even though I used repositionable, I would have to take all this up. And I don't want to do that. So what I like to do is I like to leave it curled back and even maybe hold it with this hand. and I line it up at the bottom, and so bottom edge and edge to edge here, okay? And then I just go in small pieces and stick that down, because you want a really nice tight seam right here, okay? And then here I'm just going to hold it. Now, if I don't rub over it right away and like smooth it into place and I need to pull it up, I can. But otherwise, if I rub over it, guess what's going to happen? If I need to tear it up, it's going to tear my paper. But do you see how easy that's going down by leaving it curled and starting at the bottom? And if you're not used to working from the bottom, then stand up. I can't stand because if I bend over, my head's going to be right in the camera and you can't see what I'm doing. And because I do so much teaching, I've just learned how to do it sitting, okay? And for me, sitting, I can do it really well from the bottom up. So there's our first sticker. And before we move to this page, let's go ahead. I think this is at 2 inches. So this piece is at 2 inches. So we're going to pull this one in. And I love that the mat lets me know that I'm lined up at 2 inches. Love that. Love this tape runner, friends. I love it. Never dreamed that would be me that would be loving that, but here I am. So I line up at 2 on this side of my mat and 10 on this side of my mat, and I am good. Now, this you barely can see, but I'm using this gray chevron sticker. And on this page, I let the chevron, I wanted to sort of create that movement, so I let the chevron run off the page. So we're going to go ahead and pull one of our chevron stickers. Same thing here, friends. See how it's curling back? We're going to do the same thing. And on this one, I let it, and I'm going to turn, and you can do this too. I'm going to turn this sideways so that I can do the exact same thing that I did with this one. I can do it here. So what I'm going to do is I am basically going to, these little points make a dividing line, right? And I'm going to let the center of that chevron sort of go right where the edge of that paper is. Now, is there the possibility that it might be a tiny bit crooked? Yes. If you all follow me, you know I have a hard time seeing. I have a visual impairment. But here's the thing. This project recipe has got a lot of photos. So if it is a tad bit crooked, the only person that's going to know is you, because you're watching me make it. Right? Only person that's going to know it's crooked is you, because you are watching me make it. And it is a teeny little bit. See what I mean when I say it'll tear? See that? So we're just going to leave it. We're going to let it stay a little bit crooked. That's okay. And now we are going to repeat the same thing with our stickers on this side. Move my little silicone mat. So we're going to come back in with our other film strip. And I'm going to go through and punch out those little negative pieces, which, by the way, would make cute little cluster, like they would be like little dots. They're not round, they're like a rounded rectangle. And then, so what I'm doing here, friends, is I'm just taking my time, popping those out. This paper is gorgeous if you have a heritage album or you want to start a heritage album. This paper is perfect. And the stickers and embellishments, and the MAC cards are just perfect. The only thing I've done that is somewhat heritage is probably, it was probably a couple months, maybe close to the first anniversary of my mama passing away. I did a 6x8 album for her, and it was just a lot of black and white photos and photos that just had a little bit of color wash to them. That's probably the closest thing I have to a heritage album, because like pictures that would be considered what goes in a heritage album just end up making their way in my family album. So remember, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to let it curl backwards, and I'm going to hold it about maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches from the bottom of the sticker. I'm going to hold this loose floppy part with my thumb, and I am going to line up the bottom of the sticker with the base of the page, and then I am going to let this edge of the sticker just brush right up against the edge of that polka dot paper. And when I first found out I was going to be doing this project recipe, I was so excited to be doing the browns and the sepias. But as a design team member, you don't use your own photos. Creative Memory sends you the photos that you're going to use. And so, like I said earlier, when those photos came and I could see the photos, I was like, nope, I want to showcase the blacks and the grays in this paper, because I just felt like those photos were a natural fit for that. And regardless of which side of the paper that you wanted to use, black and white photos or sepia photos would be gorgeous on this paper. But tonight, we're going to go full-blown pops of color from Destin. That's what we're doing tonight. Last year's beach trip. So remember, we went 2 inches on this side. We're going to do 2 inches on this side. And it just so happens that the piece of paper, because I was cutting a scrap, so it sort of has that, I call that a compass rose, and those little sun rays coming out. If I put it this way, it's going to get hidden by a picture. It's probably going to get hidden by a picture here too, but that's okay. That is okay. I can hear, if Brenda is still on here, Brenda is saying, I would have never thought you would get one of those. What was it that we used to call that, Brenda? At the scrapbook store? The ATG gun. Big Bertha. Now there's a little overlap right there, but when I'm finished, I can flip this over and trim it. Okay. So, and now we need to put on this last chevron sticker. Now, because this one went that direction, this one is going to go that direction. And what I would like to do right here, this is maybe weird, maybe not, but when I do this, I like to put my edges right next to each other. Did you see I took my paper loose from that mat? And I want to know that my stickers are going to be in alignment. I'm going to let that sort of curl back. See how I'm letting those sort of kiss each other right there? And then I'm just going to sort of do what I did earlier, right where I think that paper line is under here is where that arrow is going to go. And I know it's hard to tell with these photos, but we have our bases together now, okay? The next thing that we're ready to do is do these 2 punches. This is just the third punch cut. That's all that is, okay? So, but there's a little treatment. Did you notice what I did? I put in a little banner cut. Sort of looks a little bit like, I don't know, like a banner. So it's hard to tell. Crocodile, maybe. I don't remember. Oh, yes, the big chomp. Yes, Brenda. Yes, yes, and yes. So I'm starting at that little corner right there, and I'm just going up right here and cutting that out. Okay. And I may actually cut a little bit of this one off. Now let's come back, and what I cut off, I can use right over here. This one, I'm just going to cut right here. Well, let's just cut all of that off. I'm going to cut all of that bottom piece off right there, because I know I'm going to have to cut anyway. And then that will just make this so much prettier. And I'm going to go back and do the same thing here because I don't like how that one looks. So I'm going to cut that bottom diamond off. I just don't like how that looks. And then I am going to, let me get a little bit close so you can see what I'm doing. I have adhesive stuck to my scissors. All right, now over here, those are going to run sort of like this. So we're going to probably cut right up here off. And then right here on this piece, I have just a little piece sticking out under the photo and two little pieces right there sticking up from that photo. So on this third one, I'm going to go, let's just go ahead and cut that diamond off. And I'm going to go like 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to cut right under that diamond. And I'm going to do the same little dovetail. Y'all know me, I put a dovetail on. I cannot scrapbook if I don't put a dovetail on something, right? Everything I scrapbook gets a dovetail. So one is going to go here, and then I'm going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, we're going to go. So when I cut that one, I'm right at a diamond. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to go right here. So we end up having 4 diamonds, and we're going to do that dovetail. Let me trade scissors. Those are so sticky. I have been cutting at some point, and those get a little sideways too. Okay, we'll come back and adhere these down, and then over here we're just going to go ahead and cut 2 diamonds. We won't use, you won't see all of it, but we're just going to cut 2 diamonds, and that's going to be those. Okay, now if I'm going too fast, slow me down, April. I'm going to sort of clean up some of this mess because I just need to. I'm getting messy. And I need to get my mat back in frame. This little piece is extra, so we don't need to worry about that right now. I'm finished with these stickers, so I can put these away. I'm not going to be using the rest of the border sticker, okay? So now what I need to do before I know where exact placement is going to go, I need to trim my photos. But this is sort of letting me know about where I want to place these things, okay? I think, because I want to go ahead and get this glued down. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this diamond here, and I think I'm going to cut that diamond there. So I'm going to take my photos. I'm going to cut one full set of diamonds off based on my photos. You don't have to trim if you don't want to trim, but I'm going to cut one set off, that one. And this is going to stagger, okay? That's my choice. You don't have to let it stagger. If you want it to touch, that would make a pretty cool design right there. Or this one could be taller. You do you and whatever you like. That's just sort of how I did them. So now I think I'm going to cut, same thing, just the same amount. We're just going to stagger a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and get these glued down. So, and y'all know, if you follow me, I use the Epson Picture Mate 400, and the silicone mat sticks to the pictures. I don't know if it's, I use Canon semi-gloss paper, and I don't know if that's what it is, but it drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. So I'm just going to run, this is another reason why I like the repositionable tape, is I can use it right on that silicone mat, and there's no stick on the silicone mat, and you can't see the tape on my project, and I love it. Now, am I lining this up by any measurements on my mat? No, I'm just eyeballing it, making sure that it doesn't look too terrible crooked. Again, it's mostly going to be covered by photos, so. And this page will go in my family album. Now, I'm staggering again. This will go in my 2024 family album. Okay, so there that is. That's glued down. Now, the way I'm going to work on this is we're going to go ahead and get these glued down on the other page. So we're going to squish that in. Hopefully you can see. And then we'll cut our mats, and we'll get our photos down, and then we will put down our sticker embellishments, and this will be finished. If you're still working with me, April, let me know if I'm going too fast. Anybody that might be working as I'm going, let me know if I'm going too fast. That's the bad thing about a live class, is if you're watching it live and you're working at the same time that the person who's teaching is working, it's like you can't pause. Like sometimes whenever we do classes like on the Inspired Memories, all of those are recorded. Now I'm staggering that. Notice how I staggered that. And we're going to stagger these. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive on these. But I'm not going to stick them because I want to know that I'm going to have the ability to move them once my mats go down. So I'm not going to stick, if that makes sense. And I can tell that one right there is already crooked. I can already tell. Okay, if my head gets in, I'm sorry. I have to stand and look at it. And you're probably going to see my little PJs. There we go. Had to get that. Whew, that was hard. That was hard, friends. Okay, so now we are ready to cut our photo mats. I'm going to push these up so I can pull the stickers that I need. I'm pretty much going to use the same stickers that I used on this because I like the stickers that I used. So, and I'm going to stick them on my silicone mat. So over here, I'm going to pull like this gray, like cogwheel. And then I think this one right here I end up cutting in half. We're going to go ahead and pull that one so you can see that one. We are going to pull the one that says "This is Us." And then we are going to pull this one that looks like a little arrow. It's this one right here. And there's that little part on the inside of that. I think maybe I used that. I did use it right over there because it sort of mimics a little heart. Okay, and then we have a little film strip. So let's put that down. And then what other sticker? That's all the sticker I used on that side. And then on this side, we have that little sticker. We have our clock. We have our all together. Oh, the all together would be good over here. We have our all together sticker. We have this sort of gray. Again, it sort of looks like a guitar pick. And we're going to use that little negative piece too. So don't lose that. And then we have a butterfly. Our little gray butterfly. And then we are going to use the inside of this little gray piece. And let me just make sure. Yep, we're cutting that in half. And then down here, we have this cogwheel that says Timeless. And we have this black little chevron. And somewhere we have a gray heart. And I think that looks like all the stickers. So let's start with embellishing here first. So I'm going to do the all together and the clock. So I want the all together to sort of layer over. Kind of like that. Let me get this down so you can see it. I just realized I'm out of frame. So I'm going to do the all together, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to put the clock in there. This little guy, I'm going to just cut in half. Okay. It's gonna sort of touch. That's what makes a cluster a cluster. Okay. And then I'm gonna take one of these that looks like it's the inside of that darkest guitar-like little pick. Uh-oh. Just dropped it. And that's just gonna sort of go there. Our little butterfly, because what happens is all of this ends up being like one little cluster together. Little butterfly goes there. The other little dark piece is going to sort of go right there. And then over here, our dark guitar pick is going to go like right up against that. And that little light inside piece is going to go right there. And that's all of that piece. So now we're going to do this right here. So we're going to layer over the Timeless and this piece. So Timeless is sort of going to go right here, and then this is just going to stick right up under it. And you're going to have a teeny little bit sticking over right there. And then this little heart. And that page, our left page, is finished. Okay? And now let's put our embellishment on our right page, and we're finished, friends. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Here I am, hour and a half. Oh, jeez. I forgot that I talk a lot. I forgot that I talk a lot. Oh, we didn't glue these down. We are going to, I keep getting adhesive. That's the bad thing. So we are going to layer these up. So we're going to start like right here with that other half of that gray sticker. And then this little gray cog, sort of silver cog, is going to go right about there. Now remember how I said I'm not going to waste my time and like sit here and try to punch all these out, although I think that would be super cute. We're going to, first of all, let me look at that and see. Oh yeah, looks kind of straight. Kind of. So we're going to just stick just enough of that under. That you can't tell. See what I'm saying? We're just sticking enough of it under that you really can't tell. And then the This Is Us. We want the tip of it to stick out over. And then we have this little and there we go, friends. We are finished. An hour and a half. And this would be if you were working on it on your own and you were reading the directions and not listen to me get long-winded. It would be much faster than me sitting here talking to you. But trust me, my stressed mind needed this tonight. So thank you for being my therapy tonight. But there is the original that has the muted photos that this really does fit, right? And then here is my version tonight. And so one thing that I hope you got out of this tonight is when you look at a project recipe, you can always make whatever photos you have work for that, because This Is Us, that fits family, right? All together, that fits family. Timeless. Like, I love everything about this. I feel like I've still got very good restful space. Like all of this, even though it's busy paper. Exactly, right? April, it wouldn't be as much fun. And I'm just so thankful that we got to spend this Friday night together. You've got all kinds of restful space. And tell me, do you love the beach photos on this? Like, who would have thought to use beach photos on this? My little weird brain. My little weird brain. I could have pulled some pictures of me and Ben, like, through time, or this would have been really good. I have literally a handful of my mom and dad's wedding photos, literally a handful. Mom and dad went to the courthouse and got married in 1968, and so there's not enough photos. And I was like, let's just do some beach photos and see what people thinks. So leave some comments. What do you think, friends? Hit some hearts. I love it. I love it. This will not, now these photos will get scrapbooked again. This is not the only time these photos will get scrapbooked. These will go in my family album for 2024. Like they'll be in the June section of 2024. But then there will be a Miramar Destin album, and these will go in that Miramar Destin album as well. And I'm that person who will scrapbook the same picture multiple times to put it in different albums. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me say one more thing. So, my friend Nicole and I, talking about project recipes, my friend Nicole and I have a collab on YouTube. Of course, you know my YouTube channel is Making Creative Memories in Time, and Nicole's YouTube channel is Recording the Journey with Nicole. And we do a monthly collab. The fourth Thursday of every month, we choose one of the recipes from 52 Scrapbooking Project recipes, and we do something different with it. Sometimes they're pretty much the same, and other times we switch them up. And like this one, I don't know if you guys saw this one. I tried to post this one while I was gone to Minnesota, and it wouldn't post until I got back. So our June collab was Project Recipe 25. And this was my take on Project Recipe 25. It was, and this one is not supposed to be attached because that's going to be in a flip flap. This was Roland's very first time in a pool. And it was over at his, at Brentley's grandma and grandpa's pool, which is where his birthday party is going to be. But this was my take on that project recipe. So make sure that you're following Nicole and myself on YouTube so you can see what fun we have with project recipes. And today, I have to say this. Today was his first swim at the lake at my mom and dad's. So I got those pictures to scrapbook too. He had on a different hat and a different swimsuit, but he still had his little floaty that he buckles in. I loved it. Alright, well, that is it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you very soon. Happy scrapping.